Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today to talk about the work of Julio Diez, Diez Knives. Now if you're not familiar with Julio Diez, look around, you'll find a bunch of information about his collaborative designs, you'll find a bunch of information about his personal designs, not only knives but beautiful leatherwork, awesome hard use tools, and today, well, I have one of his newest models that we are going to get into at a first look and sort of preliminary impression. But for me, well, I was first introduced to Julio Diez because of this knife, the Becker BK9. And of course, yes, I know the Becker BK9 is not a Julio Diez design, but it was his kydex and leatherwork that I got while he was under the name 710 Customs. This is just such a beautiful piece of artwork. This sheath, phenomenal. The leatherwork, fantastic. And this was one of the very first pieces that I kind of got that was sort of to customize my knife and customize my Becker BK9. And I fell in love with this right away. Now, Julio has since kind of stepped away from the 710 Customs name and got more under the Diaz Knives branding. But, you know, moving forward, lots of collaborative designs, and I found myself in love with the Condor Knife and Tool Plan A Bowie. This here in 1075, just an awesome workhorse, absolutely beautiful, nice, large, wieldy blade. But when you look at the kydex, so not only do you get the Condor knife, but you get that awesome kydex with it. So that's just a beautiful package. Now moving forward, I don't have many custom knives, but I do have a couple, and I really wanted to get a custom from Julio Diez. So this here, this is the Contigo in A2 steel. So the A2 tool steel, awesome design. What's called cow carta. So it's basically micarta made out of leather. So it has a real supple feel, really grippy, but durable at the same time. Beautiful liners, awesome craftsmanship. And when you look at the quality of the leatherwork, it is phenomenally nice. Just so simple, yet phenomenally nice. Just awesome. So that is just a real small look at some of the Diaz designs. But today, what we're really going to look at, first look and impression of the Work Tough Gear collaboration with Julio, this here, the Tanto X. A nice large slab of K329, so bowler steel, always fantastic steel, and then the K329, good hard use steel that Work Tough Gear has kind of gone to as one of their go-to and I'd just say general workhorse steels. They used SK85 for quite a long time. They still do, but K329 has kind of taken some of that place. Now here you can see 3/16 of an inch in terms of the stock thickness, nice oversized handle, awesome G10 with the stippling, that sort of 3D machining there, orange liners, a beast of a blade, has that fuller, and just a wicked look. Which at some point I will be doing a side-by-side and detailed comparison against the Work Tough Gear Woodscraft Chanto, which is my design. Some definite similarities, but some vast differences at the same time. And these are really the workhorse mid-weight Tantos, or, you know, Tanto-esque anyway, in the Work Tough lineup. And definitely a couple of very capable blades. So at some point, some field use with these. But again, today, more of that first look and impression. So generally speaking, Work Tough Gear always doing an amazing job with the balance. As we get on this here, and kind of right on that ricasso, you'll see that this is going to be a little bit forward weighted, but at the same time, close to neutral, pretty darn close to neutral. It would be more neutrally balanced if the balance point was right back here. So it's slightly forward weighted, but as I demonstrated, you can see here, pretty close to neutral. So for a larger blade, this is going to feel neutral, just nimble in the hands, the ability to wield it around and wield it around nicely, and hopefully not fatigue on the lighter tasks, so the ability to do some carving, but then getting back and doing some of those heavier chopping tasks. And if you take a look at Diaz designs, well, some definite design language translating to the work he's done in the past. So you can see here that flare on the Plan A Bowie. Well, it's not real surprising that the pommel end of the Tanto X also having that flare. And you'll see that, just in terms of the general handle size, fairly similar. So for somebody who, designs a lot of knives in this particular size class, has his own designs, and then the collaborative designs, translating a lot of those design elements and design flair into the Tanto X. The handle thickness at the thickest point, just under an inch. And then in terms of the overall length of the handle, you can see more than enough space. I have a large size hand and I can grip that easily. So, your double X paws will have no problem getting on there. Work Tuff Gear always doing a fantastic job with their edge. Now, I have used this just a little bit, starting to do a little bit of field testing. So there might be some, smudges and marks and stuff, but always a polished edge all the way from one end to the other. So from the tip all the way to that ricasso. Small little sharpening choil. No finger choil on this knife, so that is a consideration for those who like a finger choil. You won't have it. I don't think you're necessarily going to need it, and a lot of people may prefer not having a choil, so I think that'll work out just fine. The ability to add a lanyard and those scallops on the handle so you can get on the knife sideways, do some of those alternate grips, alternate work, and that works well where you end up with that squared off spine. So 90-degree squared off spine. But then again, what Work Tuff Gear has been doing an amazing job with lately is just chamfering everything and rounding it over so that if you want to do the controlled tasks with your thumb over the top, that's not going to beat you up. So that is very nice. Overall length around 17 inches. The blade length right around 10 1/4. And then we'll weigh this up real quick. So keeping in mind the fact that at the time of this video, this is kind of pre-release. So getting an early look at this. So let's throw it on the scale. So here you can see weighing in at just at 24 ounces. So 1 pound, 8 ounces. So definitely going to strike the balance between a knife with some heft, but at the same time, something that's going to be light enough that you're not going to mind carrying it, and it's going to be nimble enough that you don't mind wielding it around. Total blade height here, just over 2 inches, and you can see this is a high saber grind. So you can see here that flat, pretty much like a 2/3 height, right around 2/3. So that shoulder in that saber grind right there, transitioning to the flat, all the way to the back edge of that secondary bevel. Now in terms of the sheath, Work Tuff Gear always doing an amazing job with their kydex. These usually come chock full of a ton of different accessories. This again is a sort of pre-production sample that, a lot of times we don't get all of the hardware. So I can't speak to exactly what this is going to come with. However, what I can tell you is this is going to be awesome with a couple of larger molly clips or something like that. So the molly clips will go on here, no problem. You could definitely carry this over your shoulder, more baldric style, which I would probably recommend for a knife of this size. But you have a ton of different lashing points, a ton of different ways you can connect this. Industry standard spacing on the eyelets all the way down, and there are a ton of them. You heard right away the retention, fantastic. Little bit of slap, but you can't help that with a knife this large, and it's barely anything worth noticing. So very good retention overall. Extremely secure, nice click, little ramp here to push off of, very effective. And of course, a package that looks awesome with the green, that sort of olive drab on the kydex, and then tying in with the handles, just an overall awesome look. And so whether it's beautiful kydex, leather work, custom sheaths, and just gorgeous fit and finish, the knives, Julio's designs, his capability to actually produce and craft beautiful knives with awesome materials, excellent fit and finish, ergonomics that are just comfortable. Whether you have your Plan A Bowie or, in today's case, the Tanto X, large chopping blades, but survival class knives that can do a ton of work and can cross over between some of those finer tasks, some of those heavier tasks, the chopping, the ability to slice and pierce. Just awesome. So this Tanto X is going to be fun. As I mentioned, I will have some field use to come. At this point, this was just a first look, first impression, kind of comparing against some of the work that Julio's done in the past. So definitely check out Julio Diaz. Links in the description box below for Work Tuff gear. Thank you to the people at Work Tuff Gear who did provide this for review. And if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless family of channels. This here, Outer Limitless Blades, where I cover all the sharp and pointy things on my Outer Limitless channel, outdoor hiking, camping, backpacking, EDC gear, Outer Limitless 2, which is tactical and firearms, and Outer Limitless Lights, which covers all your lighting needs from headlamps to EDC lights, indoor, exterior lighting, you name it. That's the Outer Limitless family of channels. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. See you soon.